Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining. My name's Carrie, and today we are going to talk about what I call victims that were on the stand in the Darrell Brooks trial. And I've clipped out a lot of the fatty parts, the pauses, all that good stuff, so that we can go straight through the video. I will be adding my commentary and just a trigger warning. This is not one of those videos that we're going to sit here and laugh at. I mean, there might be some things that Scrappy Doo does that y'all think is funny, but both the people that are on the stand, although neither were physically injured during the event, some close to them were, and I consider them mentally injured from this tragedy. So let's see how evil this man continues to be as he cross examines, or as he likes to say, cross examinates these witnesses.
46 video that you were showing that it was pretty clear.
Okay, this is day 8 of the trial. And when I say day 8, I mean literally, I start on day 1 as the jury selection. This man on the stand is Adam Bonesteel, and we've seen him in a previous video. He was the driver of the Citizens Bank float. His wife worked for Citizens Bank. She was a friend of Jane's, who, as we know, Jane passed away.
46 video that you were showing that it was pretty clear.
Again, wasn't focusing on the sky.
Right? What a jerk.
Do you agree or disagree? The video or that you saw was clear.
No, he's talking about the
The
sky.
video, the clarity of the video or the skies? Please clarify
that
your
it
question.
was pretty much still daytime. You can see everything pretty clear. Everything was.
You can see, yes, it was clear. It was dusk.
Would it be fair to say you can recall lights coming on, but not the driver of the vehicle?
I think that's asked and answered, Your Honor.
Objection. Grounds.
I love his answer.
Overruled. He may answer.
I can remember lights coming on because they are stationary. The vehicle was traveling past me at a rate of speed with a woman that I thought was my wife on the vehicle. Was not really paying attention to who was driving the vehicle. Again.
So would it be fair to say you were paying attention to the lights?
Oh my gosh. No. What a jerk.
Do you recall the duration of time that you saw the brake lights?
No, I do not.
But you did, in fact, see brake lights.
Correct.
No further questions.
Do you want a medal because you put on your
Yes,
brakes for a
briefly.
slight moment?
Sir, after you saw brake lights, did you see the SUV or the red vehicle that you described ever come to a complete stop?
No.
Did
Yes.
There's been an
I love it.
objection. It's overruled. His answer may stand.
Thank you. Mr. Harris, I'm going to draw your attention to November 21st, 2020.
Okay, now we're moving on to the next witness, who is Matthew Harris. And he was standing on a kind of a corner street on a cobblestone area of a sidewalk. He was with a bunch of people. He said he went with a group of like 21 people, and they had just left like a kids' soccer game, so they all decided to take the kids to the parade. All of the children were standing in front of them, and the adults were kind of standing back off onto the cobblestone. And his daughter, as you will hear, was injured, and her injuries compared to most were very minor, but still she was struck by the vehicle as well as one of her little friends.
Around the area that the 19 people that you were with kind of encompassed?
Pretty much this whole corner.
Okay. And were you standing, sitting?
Standing. Most of the children were sort of in the front area on the curb and out into the street, and most of the adults that sort of huddled behind.
Okay. And were there other people as you were standing looking at the street? Which way is the parade coming? Is it coming from, as you're looking at the street, your left down to your right? If you draw an arrow.
Right, yeah, sure.
Thanks. So again, were there a lot of people in to the right and to the left of you, spectators?
It was pretty packed,
Okay.
correct, yep.
Thank you. At some point, and we can take this exhibit down, at some point did you hear some type of commotion?
I did. I do know that the dancing grannies had just passed us.
Okay.
And then that's when I heard the commotion, an audible gasp. There was a large vehicle kind of blocking our view of what was coming, kind of obscured anything. And then that's when I saw a red SUV from the north side come around in front of that vehicle. It headed straight for that corner where our children were, so it was kind of coming dead on at us. And then at the last second, kind of clipped that corner and then veered off, and I saw it continue on into the Dancing Grannies group.
When you said you heard a gasp?
Yeah, like an audible gasp, commotion, just an eerie sound of not parade sounds, just a loud, like, draws your attention to something is going on, but we couldn't see because, again, there was a large vehicle right there.
And I'm assuming the large vehicle that you're describing was part of the parade?
Correct.
Approximately how far from your position was the red SUV when you first saw it?
It would have been.
Oh. Is there
There have been no objection to that, so he may answer.
Okay.
It would have been on, I believe that's the south side of the street, so maybe 30 feet.
So you first saw it approximately 30 feet to your left, and it would have been on the opposite side of the road from where you were seated.
Yeah, just on the other side of the large vehicle, that Suburban that was there.
So on the driver's side or the passenger
Driver's
side?
side.
Thank you.
I saw it come along the side of it, and then once it cleared that vehicle, it made it which would have been a right-hand turn right towards our corner. I remember having a split second of what is going on, and then I remember screaming, "Get back," because all of our children were right there. It came through, it veered off, and my immediate thought was he hit something in the front there and then continued off. I would say the parents, mostly the dads, kind of ran up there and kind of check on the children, and I recall at that moment, after a second pause, looking down the road to see where it was going. My immediate thought was to kind of run after it, and then I realized I had an injured child and a 3-year-old as well that was there. I distinctly remember seeing 2 victims laying in the street, and then I looked up the other way where I had come, and I saw a woman with plaid pajamas lying in the street up the road, and that's when I grabbed my daughter and grabbed her to pull her back.
Oh.
Could you tell the path of travel as you said it was heading towards your corner and then it veered away? Do you recall, can you describe that?
Yeah, it veered away and then headed right back, continued down Main Street, seemingly right down the middle of the road.
He said that
And did you see
the
it
dancing
impact
grannies
the
had just
grannies, or
passed.
I
did
did
you
not.
just see bodies after
I
the
just
car
saw
went through
the
them?
victims on the ground.
Thank you. Sir, how old are the children, your children that were at the parade?
Relevancy, really?
My children at the time was 7, and my youngest was 3.
And your 7-year-old was approximately where? And your 3-year-old?
She had just come back by me a few minutes prior, so she was back by me.
She was up on the curb.
Correct.
And the path of travel as the vehicle came towards you, can you put an arrow approximately where you think it was veering from and where it was going towards?
Objection, speculative.
Overruled.
I believe it was coming right at us and then quickly went that way.
Thank you. Were you able to estimate how fast the car was going?
Faster than normal speed limit on that road, I would say 25 to 30 miles per hour.
During a
Did you
parade.
hear a horn honking prior to it coming up on your group?
I did not.
Were any people that were with your group injured?
Yes.
Who was injured?
My daughter, my 7-year-old daughter, had her foot ran over her left foot, broke 4 toes, and also her tibia and fibula in her leg. And then there was another friend of ours, younger daughter, who was next to her, I believe she got sideswiped from the vehicle with some face damage. Sorry.
Oh, bless her.
And your 7-year-old, what is her name?
Brinley,
Brinley?
correct.
Okay. Did you said that there was something with her tibia and
Fibula, correct.
fibula. Were they broken
They
or?
were broken. Yes, sorry, they were
Okay,
broken.
sorry. What did you do
When, at that moment,
right after the car went past your
Yep.
daughter?
So we leaped up. My daughter was crying. Many of the children were crying. We were trying to triage through and just seeing who was injured, and because it came that close. And again, I had looked down, kind of just assessed the situation a little bit. I had grabbed my daughter, had set her back on the curb a little bit. Grabbed my oldest daughter, with the injuries. I grabbed my 3-year-old and set them there as well. And then at some point, a few moments later, got them. The other parents were lining up the children on the side of Clinton Street, on the side of the Steaming Cup, over in this area. So we eventually moved the kids back there.
Did you take Brinley that evening for medical care?
I did not.
Okay. How did you know that she had broken toes?
So there's a couple of variables that came into play there. We did not know at the moment. I knew that she had a foot injury, and I did the typical dad thing, and I downplayed the initial injury. I carried her to the car. At the time of walking to the car, as a leader at Pro Healthcare where I work, I got an alert that the hospital was on lockdown. So my initial thought was to take her up to the hospital myself. Her acuity versus other victims laying in the road didn't warrant her waiting for an ambulance, that I could take her. At that time, when I got the lockdown notice on my phone, I decided to call my wife, who is a nurse practitioner in urgent care at the time, and I said, you're going to want to check this out. She was almost done with her shift anyways. We live 15 minutes from the house.
So basically what he's saying, guys, is that I knew there were a lot more people with much more traumatic injuries. I'd heard that the hospital was on lockdown because I worked there, and my wife is licensed. She can check out our child. There's no sense in us taking up space at the hospital when there's so many people injured and hurt.
Later on, I think it was the next morning when we kind of had a chance to collect ourselves, and I recall seeing a tread mark across her shoes.
That be consistent with the tire mark?
It would be.
So the right shoe was unable to be located that night, correct?
Correct.
And the left shoe you did find, and that's what you took home with you?
Correct.
Now, you said that at the time you didn't feel that your daughter should be taken by ambulance because of what you were seeing. Can you describe to the jury what you were seeing?
Just mass chaos. Nothing like I'm a combat veteran. I've been around mass hysteria most of my career, and I had never seen anything like this in such a safe environment where it was just hysteria, screams, sirens everywhere, just. And unknowing, are there other vehicles coming down? Like, what is actually going on here? So it was just an odd, eerie feeling for a very long period there.
And you had indicated you had seen a woman with plaid
It
pants.
seemed like pajama pants. Correct.
Okay, to the left of you.
Correct.
And did you see her being treated?
I saw many individuals standing around her. I know that one of the parents in our group is a physician. I believe she went on to render aid somewhere. I don't know if it was her or not, but I remember seeing a large presence around that woman.
And then, did you see any bodies to the right of your position?
Yes, that's where I saw two within, which would have been part of the dancing granny group. I don't know if they were the grannies or not at the time. I just knew that there were two people laying on the ground.
For the record, how long is the video clip?
It is 8 seconds.
All right, thank you. Exhibit 49 is received. Permission to publish is granted.
Thank you.
Noted for the record, Your Honor.
It is.
At 0 seconds, do you see yourself in this still frame?
Yes.
Can you circle, again, using the touch screen where you are. And are you carrying Brindley?
I am.
Okay, so that was
And
after.
you just saw the dancing grannies go through?
Correct.
Does that accurately depict what you observed prior to the car coming through the parade?
Yes.
Okay. I would ask the court to admit exhibit number 50 and ask that it be published for the jury.
Your objections noted. Exhibit 50 is received. Permission to publish is granted.
So we're going to start at 0 and just go through the 11 seconds. And I'll ask you questions about the video if you may send it.
Oh my goodness. So where he was at was right there where that little, that's that infamous shot, isn't it?
Sir, is
At the
that
another
the red
angle?
SUV that you previously described as striking your daughter?
It is.
And that white vehicle that you saw in that frame, was that the vehicle that you saw that was impeding your ability to see it initially, or is that a different vehicle?
Overruled. You may answer.
I believe that was a different vehicle.
Okay. And was that the path of travel that you observed that vehicle take, which was on the north side, thank you, north side of the street?
It is.
And then after it passed that intersection, you indicated that it went towards the middle and into the grannies?
It felt like that. Definitely.
Thank you.
All right. Any questions for this witness?
Yes. Do you remember what time it was when you observed the vehicle?
What does that matter?
I don't recall the specific time I saw a red SUV. No.
You stated earlier that you saw the vehicle clip the corner. Would that be fair to say?
I saw it clip the corner of where the children were standing, correct.
And what do you mean by clip?
Come into contact with children that were in the front of that group of kids.
I love that he asked that question because it enabled him to say, oh, let me elaborate. Clipped. When you ran right over the children that were standing there in the street.
Is that how you would define clip?
That's
What he
my
said.
definition of clip, correct.
You stated also that it veered quickly away from, I'm guessing, that corner. What do you mean by veered quickly away?
The vehicle at one point was coming straight at us, and then the next moment it was heading 45 degrees back on the original route, so it quickly turned to get back onto the street. Otherwise it would have come onto the corner, onto that intersection at Clinton Street.
So it's fair to say if the vehicle did not quickly veer, as you say, it would have ran right into the people on the corner.
That's a fair statement, yes.
Yeah, but if you'd also gone around those people and then continued on that same route, you would have gotten off the parade route at that time, right?
Is it also a fair statement to assume that the vehicle veered quickly away from that because it didn't want to strike the people on that corner?
Please.
Grounds.
Speculation.
Grounds.
Sustained. Calls for speculation on the part of this witness. You do not have to answer.
In your opinion, why would the vehicle have quickly veered?
No idea what's in your mind, dude.
Objection again.
Grounds.
Speculation.
Grounds.
Sustained. Calls for speculation.
If you were driving the vehicle and were able at any time to see people directly in your path, would you veer away?
Objection. Relevance for this
Grounds.
trial.
Sustained.
And I had the grounds for the sustain?
It's not relevant for this witness to answer that question. Calls for a hypothetical that he has not been qualified to answer. It's also on foundation grounds.
Did you get a look at the driver of the vehicle?
I recall looking into the window, but my memory doesn't put a face to that or an image to that, so no.
Did you get a license plate number of the vehicle?
No.
A license, a
You
license,
see any
a
tents on the
what?
vehicle that you recall?
License,
No, I was
license
not paying
plate,
attention to the vehicle
a license
after it came
plate.
down barreling up the children. My eyes, tunnel vision to the kids.
So it'd be fair to say that with you focusing on the kids, it would be difficult to describe the vehicle at that point.
Outside of it obviously being a red SUV in my mind as I saw it come down, I couldn't recall any other details about the vehicle.
So it'd be fair to say the only thing you can recall about the vehicle was the color of it.
That it was a red SUV, a larger vehicle.
So the color of it.
Correct.
You stated that you initially waited before you seek medical attention. Any reason why you would wait?
Really? Can you explain that?
Walked through the variables earlier. The hospital was on lockdown. I'm familiar with hospital operations enough to know that the acuity for my daughter didn't warrant me taking resources from other victims. My wife's a provider, an urgent care nurse practitioner. I felt she would be in a better position 15, 20 minutes later to assess and handle that from there.
You stated you did the father thing, as you put it, and downplayed the significance of the injury.
Yes, Darrell, you probably would not know what the father thing is. Probably would not understand anything about being a father.
Any reason why you would downplay it?
I think my initial reaction was a little confusion of what was going on and not seeing any bones sticking out or any blood. I immediately went into this sort of you're okay, meaning compared to everything else I'm seeing around us, you're in an okay position right now to get home. So I don't know if it was downplaying the injury per se, but it was more of just a triaging in my own mind of going, it's not that, it's okay.
It would be fair to say that the language you used was you downplayed the injury. Would that be fair to say?
Yep, that's correct.
After the vehicle passed you, did you observe anyone being struck?
No.
Before the vehicle approached, did you observe anyone being struck?
Yes.
You also stated that at one point, after you were observing the path of travel of the vehicle, that it felt like it was straightening up into the middle of the parade route. Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
What do you mean by it felt that way?
Maybe in an incorrect term on my part. My memory, my recollection of the memory was that when it veered off, it went on and continued down the middle of Main Street.
So would it be fair to say that you really don't recall?
And I certainly recall the vehicle heading back down Main Street, down the middle of Main Street.
I'm referring to you saying that it, what it felt like as opposed to what you recall it doing.
I used the incorrect term there. When I said felt, it was more of the word choice of recall I should have used.
And you stated that you would estimate the speed of the vehicle to be about 25 miles an hour?
I said 25 to 30 miles per hour.
So somewhere in between that.
Correct.
And you also stated that it was the vehicle was about 30 feet away from you?
When I first initially saw the video, the vehicle was 30 feet away. It was just on the other side of the vehicle, the large suburban vehicle.
So how could you come to the determination of the speed?
Because it was barreling right at us. So as it came around the vehicle, started coming towards us, it felt like 25 to 30 miles per hour, and then as it veered off, no brake lights, just veered off and continued
No
right
brake
down Main Street
lights.
at that
I
rate of
like that he
speed.
said that.
So it felt like that was the speed. Is the term you just used again, felt. It felt like it was going that speed.
So I'm using the term felt, and I am defining that as sort of a mental recollection or a gut feel. I'm not trained in assessing speed, so my gut feel, what I felt at that time, driving that street numerous times, is that it was going 25 to 30 miles per hour.
So would it be fair to say, based on what you just said, that you're not trained in speed analyzation, that would it be
Analyzation.
fair would it be fair to say that you don't know exactly the speed of the vehicle? Grounds. That's based on what he
Hold
said.
on, you asked multiple questions, so I'm going off of the very last question that you asked. And that is, would it be fair to say that you don't know the speed of the vehicle? To that question, the objection is overruled and the witness may answer.
Yes, without looking at a speedometer, I would have no way of knowing exactly how fast that vehicle was going.
Did you notice any damage to the vehicle at that point that it passed you?
I don't recall honing in on that level of detail on the vehicle, so I don't recall.
Do you recall if you may have seen anyone else present in the vehicle?
Yeah, because
I don't
somebody from the
recall.
back was driving the vehicle. Why does he keep asking that?
Did you ever make any statements to law enforcement after the incident at any time?
My wife and I both shared information on behalf of the crash report and our findings, or our initial statement.
You recall if that was the same night of the incident or in the following days after?
That was the following days.
Do you recall if it was a few days after or maybe a week or two?
I don't recall specifically. I believe probably within a week or so.
Any idea why it took so long for you to give a report? You and your wife, rather, to give a report?
Yeah, just dealing with my daughter and getting her situated, and just the magnitude of the incident. I think it took them a little bit longer. I think we were in contact pretty quickly, but it just took a while for them to get the resources back to us to collect everything.
Did you initially initiate the contact which attempting to file a report?
I can't recall specifically. It's been close to a year, but I believe we did reach out to the DA's office at some point in the following days.
Did you do any follow-up after that initial contact to see if maybe your report had been?
You know what I've decided, you guys? I've decided that what he's done is he has like a template that he uses for each witness, regardless of how they answer a question. It's the same questions he's going to ask. So, like, he's not even listening to what they're saying. He's just asking these same questions over and over again. I've just kind of, I don't know.
Filed or anything like that?
At that point, the DA's office stayed in contact with us to let us know that everything they needed had been captured.
Do you recall who you talked to from the DA's office?
I don't recall.
Doesn't
Do you
matter.
recall if? Do you recall being told that you may be called to testify in this matter?
I do.
Were you seeking to testify in this matter?
I know I was subpoenaed directly from the state, the DA's office.
So you didn't have any intention to testify in this matter before being subpoenaed?
I knew it was a possibility. I never reached out to request to testify. I let them do their job, and they reached out to me to let me know that I would get subpoenaed.
He's one of many that said, I let them do their job. I kind of wonder if when they were, sitting down with the victims, because you'll notice that none of the victims that were on the stand went off on Darrell, and they so easily could have. I mean, some of the questions that he asked, and this isn't the worst one by far, but I just mean like he literally would push their buttons, and regardless, I've got one coming up here that we're gonna watch soon, where it's a female that her daughter was in, I think her daughter was injured, and she's angry. And you could tell she wants to lash out, but she keeps it together and she does not do it. And I just think that they set these witnesses down and said, look, the DA did set them down and said, look, he is going to make you so angry, but no matter what you do, you cannot lash out because it's only going to make things worse. And just bite your lip, bite your lip. Trust me on this, please. I just, I can't, I find it impossible that more people didn't come back at him. And I just think the only reason is that the DA's office just kind of said, look, keep it straight to the point, take your emotions out of it as much as you can, answer the questions, and walk away. Because at the end of the day, we got this. That's the only thing I can figure. Because if it had been me, I probably would have jumped over the stand, the witness stand, and gotten my can opener out and unleashed a can of Alabama whoop ass on him. Excuse my language, but I woulda because it just takes so much restraint. And can you imagine having a child? Your child was injured by this man, and you're just holding it together and not saying anything. I just give these guys so much kudos for that.
Have you read or seen any complaint in this matter?
Oh yeah.
Grounds.
Sustained.
Have you or your wife filed any claims in this matter?
Which claim, define claims?
Referring to being an injured party or anything of that nature?
We submitted a claim with the DA's office, I believe, for potential medical reimbursement
So that would be in regards to the medical bills.
for my daughter, correct?
So would it be fair to say that you have a financial interest in this matter?
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Okay, I think he's biting his lip. Looking at the witness right now, I'm thinking, oh my goodness, he is biting his lip. And you know what I was just thinking about after I said that a while ago? I bet his wife said, no, honey, you need to take this one because I will go off on this man. So his wife, and the DA probably said they probably had a whole bunch of people to pick from, and they chose to put on the stand the people they knew could keep it together. So, I guess that's why we were able to get through without any of the witnesses really going off on him.
Grounds. Grounds.
Sustained.
Would you consider yourself to be an injured party in this matter?
Yes.
Me personally, no.
See,
Not
I don't know why
physically.
they couldn't say yes.
So you weren't injured in any way in this?
Not physically.
No, but my
no.
daughter was. Why can't he say that?
Are you aware of the plaintiff in this matter?
Objection relevance.
Grounds.
Yeah, my daughter, our
Sustained.
family, the city of Waukesha.
Ever had any contact with the plaintiff in this matter?
Objection.
Grounds.
Vague. Sustained.
Ever had any
See how he's twiddling his hands? I
phone
think he is trying to
conversations
hold it
or
together.
personal interactions with the plaintiff in this matter?
Objection.
Grounds.
Again, with regard to the nature of the question, say.
Sustained.
I don't believe that's vague, Your Honor. I asked specifically if there were any phone conversations or personal interactions. I don't think that's vague. I think that's pretty clear.
Do you think Darrell's, he says that was not his aim, all of that. You think his aim was in some of this to actually get some people to go off on the stand? Like, do you think he purposely was pushing buttons up there? See, I don't think so because I think that he's so all about Darrell that he doesn't even think about what other people are thinking. And I don't think he can think past to that point. I don't think he has the intelligence to do that. But that's just my thought. But I'd love to hear your take on it.
Sustained.
And I also believe the jury deserves to know
They need to know.
if there's a plaintiff in this matter.
Oh, they
Your
know.
objection's noted. It's to that particular statement. Your statement is noted. To the objection from the state, it is sustained. Next question, please.
Are you aware if there even is a plaintiff in this matter?
Objection.
Grounds.
Sustained.
You idiot.
May I have the grounds for the sustain, Your Honor?
Relevance.
I would object and say that it's very relevant. Again, citing
Your
that.
objection is noted.
It's day 8. How many times has he been stopped at asking those questions, and yet he still goes grounds? He still wants to know the reason for the sustain, Your Honor? Really?
Next question, please.
Sustain, 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 sustain. What does he say? What does Darrell call it?
Were you ever contacted by anyone who identified as the plaintiff in this matter?
Objection.
Yep,
Grounds.
she lives in my home.
Sustained. Still vague.
I treated her
It's pretty
injuries.
clear, Your Honor. The jury deserves to know this
Mr.
information.
Brooks, the objection has been sustained. Next question, please.
No further questions.
I know y'all were shaking y'all's head right there while y'all were watching it. If you weren't shaking your head, you were screaming at the monitor. Come on, I know you were. If you were, drop it like it's hot in the comments because I just feel like that was happening
Thank you. Any redirect?
because I was shaking my head.
Sir, at cross-examination, you had testified that you did not see any brake lights. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Ground.
Relevancy.
Overruled.
Oh, it's relevant.
Sorry, correct, yes.
You testified further on cross-examination that you observed the red SUV strike an individual to your left. Is that correct?
Objection. He also stated that he was focused on his children and not focused on.
That's an argumentative statement. What's the legal basis for your objection, Mr. Brooks?
That is hearsay.
Overruled.
He doesn't know what
I
hearsay
did not
is.
see the individual to my left get hit. I just saw her on the ground, or the victim on the ground.
After you saw her on the ground, did the red SUV stop?
Objection. Hearsay.
Overruled. You may answer.
I did not see the red SUV from that duration of the parade. I didn't see the red SUV until the vehicle had already passed that position and came around the other large SUV.
I think it was Pinky in the comments section. I think it was you, Pinky, that you said you sent him a letter in prison or something. So here's what I think, Pinky. I don't condone any hate mail or anything, but I think that in your next letter to him, you should put in there, and if it wasn't Pinky, I apologize. You should put in there the definition of hearsay. Just that's all you need to do is just hearsay, legal definition. That's all you put on the piece of paper and just mail it to him. That'd be nice and sweet, huh?
So I can't speak to what happened back there.
Was there anything that you could see in the roadway that would have prevented that red SUV from stopping before it started veering towards your group?
Objection. Hearsay. He didn't see.
The
Couldn't see
objection
above
to
that.
hearsay is noted. It's overruled. You may answer.
Can you ask the question again, please?
Certainly. Did you see anything in front of you that would have prevented the red SUV from stopping as it passed that car that obstructed your view initially?
Objection. Irrelevancy.
Overruled. You may answer.
Nothing that I saw would have stopped him. That wouldn't have allowed him to stop.
And after he impacted your group that was watching the parade and it continued on towards the dancing grannies, was there anything that you could see that would have stopped the red SUV?
Objection. Who's the he you're referring to?
I don't understand the objection. Were you done asking your question?
I was.
Overruled. You may answer.
Objection. I don't consent to being called he. We don't even know the he that's being referred to.
It's
Overruled.
The witness didn't identify a he.
you
Overruled.
big moron.
I don't recall seeing anything in the road that would have stopped him from stopping, prevented him from stopping.
Thank you. Nothing further.
All right, thank you. You may step down. This will be an excellent point to take our mid-morning break. We'll be in recess for about 15 minutes.
I just think it would be so worth it if whoever is the one that's in the chat here, and I don't condone hate mail. I'm not saying hate mail, but if you sent to him all the words that he misuses the definitions of and mispronounces, and you just put one at a time on a single piece of paper, it's so worth the stamp. I don't even know what stamps cost these days anymore. I know we're over 50 cents. How much are they these days? I don't know. Anyway, it's worth it. Just that one word, how to pronounce it, and the definition. And possibly maybe an example wouldn't hurt either. And can you see him in jail? Because y'all know, as much of a narcissist as this man is, he is opening his mouth. He is going through every piece of that. What else has he got to do? That would be a sweet little thing to send him. But I'm not condoning anybody doing it. I'm just saying that's an idea. But I'm not condoning it. Maybe I'll do it. Who knows? It's not illegal. Nah, I'm not gonna waste my stamp. Never mind. I don't know. All right, guys. Well, look, I'm getting ready to go out of town. It's a really short trip. It's not anything spectacular. I'll tell y'all where I went when I come back. I might even send y'all some pictures. I might put some pictures up. Members only. I'll do like a little members only video for you guys. And I want to thank you guys for stopping in. Have a great weekend. Hopefully, it's going to be nice where you're at and you can enjoy the upcoming summertime. Summertime starts. Oh, is it today? I think it is today. Summertime starts. Summertime. Oh, you don't want to hear me sing because I ain't good at it. Well, summertime. All right, everybody. Y'all be sweet and stay safe and God bless. See you soon.